Okay, LandRover 2002 TD5. This doesn't have the central locking diff box, so we're gonna drop the gearbox out of it, transfer box, and upgrade it to a central diff lock. Transfer box, pull the clutch down, check the clutch and flywheel, probably put a new clutch and flywheel into it. Today we don't have a ramp, so it's gonna be done on my back. Hope I got enough space here up on the axle stands. If I don't, I'll just have to get down on the jack and then lift it up, the LandRover a bit more into position to get the gearbox out. I'm going to do a step by step on what I'm doing. So I'll make a good video out of this. Thanks. Okay, so the rear prop came off nice so far. Get back there. I think I might change the U-joint whilst it's out. Front, well, I did it in a video before, gave up on me probably about 1,000 kilometers ago. So it's got all new U-joints in the front and the rear of this prop here, greasable, outrated ones. Handbrake drums off. These little 916 nuts here. The cable's gonna be a bit of a prick to get off, so I'm just gonna adjust this all the way in, pull these springs out, flop it down towards me, and then kind of get long nose pliers and just try and push back this spring here, and then you can kind of get the cable out from back this plate. I'll do a picture once I got it down there.
Oh, sorry, Daddy.
Okay, shoes are off. This is the cable I was talking about. It's a bit of a pain in the ass. See, to get the shoes past, you kind of got to pull this spring back to get to the actual cable part. And it slides over the brake shoe. I'll just show you. Sits in this here. Try to get a better picture. Sits in there. So if you pull that spring back, the cable will slide through that gap. It's a bit fiddly. There's no real way of doing it. You just kind of got to get in there with some pliers and a screwdriver. But it's off now. So bend back these teeth here, then the cable should just pull out. Okay, cross members down. On the floor there. Nice bolts are captive up in here. That's handy. Looking here now at the exhaust, I think I'm going to split it here. See if I can just take it out of the way to the front. Should give us a bit more space down to play with. Hope that our cross member in front's not got to come down to get the exhaust down. And then probably go for the front prop shaft after that. Okay, so exhaust is down. Yeah, I took off the front cross member. It was just going to give me a lot more space. I could drop the exhaust down with ease. It's 8 bolts. They come off nice and easy, captive again. So it's handy enough. Nothing's broken so far. One of the studs pulled out the bottom of the turbo. Not the end of the world. If you just see there, I've got the slave cylinder just pulled out, tucked up in the chassis. I bought that when I had the vehicle brand new, so it's probably done around 20,000 miles. I might stick another one in and keep that as a spare. They're a prick of a thing to bleed. The only way I can get last time was back bleeding it, and eventually got a pedal. I'll have a look at condition inside the box when I drop it down. There is a bit of an oil leak. I don't know if it's the rear main. Front props down. Just cable tied it up there. Hopefully that'll take those 4 front bolts off. Got a good bit of space here now. I pulled the back plate here off the back of that sort of back brake drum back plate pulled off. Those 2 wires you can see were just dangling there. I don't think they were connected to anything. I'm not too sure what they are. Probably find out a bit more later. I've only ever done clutches on Defenders and they didn't have this plate here. Not too sure what that is. Anyone knows, just let me know. So now I'm looking pretty good underneath. I think I'm going to jump up now, take off the gear linkages, cables, stuff like that, and then drop back down, maybe get the rear mounts off. Should be looking pretty good then to try and figure out how to drop the box down. Okay, so I think I've got the gear linkage and harness all removed from the transfer box. Had a bit of a problem here with this clip. It was seized in there solid. It wouldn't come out. Once slide, this part pops off. Should just pop off this. Anyway, this clip, you know, anyway, just pushes up, and then you've got to tap it out to the side while it's seized in there. So I had to drop the high and low lever out, get it down here, get a bit of WD-40 into it, work it free, got it out. There's 2 breather pipes there, one on your gearbox, one on your transfer box, 10mm clamp hold them on, so took them off. Just a plug up in here, and then there's just another plug up at the back there. Just got the harness off now, just tucked it up to the exhaust. There's the one that sits at the back behind your handbrake drum. And up inside here, pulled the armrest or whatever you want to call it off. Need a couple of screws, just fed that back through the hole. So you don't have to unplug anything, cigarette lighter plugs, popped it off, unscrew your gear cable, your gear linkage. Sits on there like that. Just one bolt that pops off. There's a locator for it there. I don't know if you could just see it. I think I'm gonna have to drill these rivets out to get my gear linkage down with my transfer box. I think that's what's going to happen there. Going to now just undo these rear mounts, probably undo the transfer box bolts. Saying to try and split the transfer box from the gearbox and then drop it down separately. Hopefully that might be my best option. That's the next stage of the strip in disassemble. Okay then, the rear mounts are undone now. These are horrible things, these rear mounts. Getting on the bolts is not easy on any of them. I had to double up on the spanners to get these ones. Up in there is a bit easier, just put a bar in it and broke them. These are all cracked, ready to go. Bottom bolts, nuts are off. That's the last bolt holding the transfer box into the gearbox. Well, don't know if you can see, they must have had Loctite up here on these ones here. 3 of them got the side. One of them, one of the bastard bolts decided to snap in there. So I'll be okay once I get the transfer box out. I'll draw that one out. There's a big stud. I don't know if you can see it out there. It just sits just up on top there. There's a big stud. That's gonna I have to push the transfer box back towards the rear of the vehicle to get it out. Hopefully the exhaust being there. Push it across there or something. Should give me enough clearance. Support the engine just here while I take the transfer box out. It's not going to be pretty my support, but I'm gonna have to do that. That's the next step. I'll hopefully have okay, transfer box is off. Was a little bit tight to get off. It was seized up on this top dowel here. Sorry, that top dowel there. It was seized up on that one. So it took a bit of levering. Once that off, it popped off, came off the shaft. Came down pretty nice. Dropped the front rear cross members down. Both cross members are off. Yeah, You can see that front diff pinion still's leaking, so I'm going to have to sort it out. And then I started taking out all the bed housing bolts. And if you can just see it, that top one just by the fuel pressure regulator, it's not the best picture, it's decided to round on me. It's in a nasty spot. It's the last one right at the top of the bed housing on the right hand side, so I'm going to have to try and hammer a stud extractor onto it and get her to go. Got the bastard. That's one way to ruin your day, a rounded off bolt. To be fair, I've not really rounded off that many bolts, never in a bed housing like that. Right on the top on an awkward place on this. A friend of mine lent me this set. Put number 12 on there, hammered it on, and with a bit of elbow grease she went. I would recommend, after having the trouble with this bolt rounding, that you don't put the impact guns on the top ones. Crack them with a bar first and zip them out with a gun after, so you don't have the trouble I just had. But lucky enough, she's out now. Starter motor's off. Not the easiest starter motor in the world to do. 2 bolts are okay. This one here, 15mm head nut sits on here, and it is a nightmare to get on. The only way I could get on it was to sit up underneath the front of the car there, legs underneath, long 3/8 ratchet, come through here, and you've just got to feel it. Slipped off, so give it a bit of a tap on with a hammer and you should get it. It's not an easy button nut to get on. And it's out. Not too bad on this. This jack here is pretty handy enough. She's pretty oily inside and very dirty and messy. I found these dropped out the bottom of the bed housing when I pulled the gearbox. I'm not too sure if that's off the dual mass. Investigate. Some of them are pretty mangled, you can see there. So it looks like something's been floating around, could be bearings off the dual mass. Like I say, there's no service history to say when this clutch was last changed. All I've changed is the master cylinder. Have a look at the clutch now and see what it looks like. Okay, back of the engine, she's very oily. I give it a good clean down. These top brackets here are a bit awkward. When you're pulling it out, it kind of catches the top of the bed housing, so the cable tied them right up when I put the gearbox back in. I don't know if it's ever been changed as clutch, like I'm saying. I'll have a look at the part numbers, see what the original OEM clutch was, to see if it has been done. The flywheel itself, let's see. There's a lot of side play in that flywheel. So hopefully that's the bearings that I found down there. Pull the clutch off now and have a look at it. Okay, so like I was saying, when I pulled the flywheel down, these bits and pieces were stuck up in the bell housing. I'm not exactly too sure what they are, but kind of had a bit of a look at the flywheel once I dropped it down. And we can see better like this. Good bit of play inside this. It's a bit hard to see. Had a look at the back here. So these are supposed to sit in there like that. And then if you look inside there, you can see something's been going around inside the flywheel. It's dented all them. I think it's part of this disc here is broken up. Looking there, that one was a bit mangled. So the spring doesn't seem too bad, to be honest. It's more just the slump on the front of the plate like that. So I say I'm gonna be looking for a new flywheel, but looking here, the date on the back of this one, 17th of the 10th, 01. So I would say this is probably the original flywheel in the Discoveries. This is 2002. There's all part numbers there and everything, guys, if you want to check it against yours. It's still Vallejo's original flywheel. Not too sure about the clutch disc myself. Say. Clutch disc has a 13th of the second 04 on the pressure plate. Very strange, has a gearbox side on the actual pressure plate, but there's nothing on the clutch disc. Normally they're stamped on here to tell you which way to put it round. By rule I always go, the bigger side goes towards the flywheel. Anyway, I'm going to replace the clutch disc, hopefully get LOF one in there. New pressure plate, new flywheel, new release bearing. I had stuck it up on a page there, a few forums saying what the guys reckon about flywheels, what go with a solid mass or a dual mass. Seems that the dual mass has come out on top in people's opinion what to refit. They say it's kind of in the Land Rover from start for a reason. You get a lot smoother gear train with it. So I think I'm gonna try and source another dual mass. Just looking at the back, the rear main doesn't actually look too bad. I suspect all this oil you can actually see was actually from the rocker cover leaking. The fuel pressure regulator out there was leaking. I've changed that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean it all down anyway, get it spotless, and I'm going to put a new rear main in it anyway, just because you're in there. It's a big job to pull the gearbox everything out, so I'll probably change that seal. Yeah, it looks a little bit oily there and stuff like that, but it doesn't look too bad. Okay guys, just a bit of an update. I've had a little bit of a tidy up here. Pulled all the parts I had down on the floor. Just pulled the plate off the back of the engine there. I'm going to give it a nice clean down. Had a bit of luck with my snapped transfer box bolt. Managed, luckily enough, drilled it out to 9mm and I hammered a T40 torque into it. It did snap, it come out in two pieces, but she come out and I ran a tap in and cleaned out the bolt on the back of the gearbox there, so that's good to go. Just gonna pull down the rear main now and go from there. Okay, so just take back the rear main seal out of this. I'm hoping I can just loosen the bolts off the back of the engine there. The sump should probably just come down just enough to take the seal out and change it. I think on the gasket there's actually just locating dowels. I think this one here and this one here is locating dowel for the rear main seal, so I'm gonna be careful there. Hopefully I shouldn't lose any oil. Actually just looking here, it's really dead handy to get the oil filter for a change. Too bad I did a service about 1,000 ago. But yeah, so I'm gonna try this and see how I get on with loosening off these bolts. Okay, so got the old seal off, new one's just about to go on. Comes with a guide, which is nice. You can see there on the bottom, two dowel holes go in the sump gasket. There's another two dowel holes on the back for going to the block. Brit part seal I got, same part number. Got it from a place called Striker's Land Rover down in Limerick. They match the price of the UK and with shipping everything, so tried them. This guy seemed friendly and helpful down there, and it was fast shipping, so all good. Okay, new crank seal is fitted. Second one, like I say. The first one was a balls up. I should have dropped the sump down further. I tried to squeeze it in and it just ended up fucking up all the lip on the seal here, and over 30 quid, you're not gonna mess about, you're gonna get the seal done right. So I put a second one in. This time I dropped off the sump completely. I've done another video there quickly where I had the sump off, I dropped it down, I fitted the Loctite oil pump bolt and the oil pressure relief, so you can check that other video out. yeah, so this time I went for a Victor Ryan seal, just the only one. Dana stuff. It's all good quality gear. I've used this lots of time. Picked up at Christian Autos again. There's the part number there. Say that lads up Christian Autos always kind of got the parts on the shelf. They're really helpful. So check them out. Christian Autos in Bristol if you want to use. Drop in. Yeah, seal comes with a nice little fitting ring. So you just put this on the end of the crank, slide your seal on. It goes on lovely then. And you just torque these down to 9 Newton meters. I don't mind a 10. So it looks a lot better job that does. So gonna get the sump cleaned up and put the sump back on. That's gonna be on the other video, and then we'll get back on with the gearbox job. Okay, then flywheel's up. Like I say, it was a second-hand flywheel fitted. It's just 600 quid for a new flywheel. I just couldn't justify it on this Land Rover. Bolts are torqued down. 40 Newton meters plus 90 degrees. I fit the new bush in here. That's all tapped in. I checked it fits the shaft on the gearbox. That's always important to do, otherwise you'll be struggling your bollocks off trying to put a gearbox in. If the input shaft in that spigot bush don't fit. So now I'm just gonna put the new clutch up, line it all up, give this a bit quick of a grease down, and then we'll try and get the gearbox back in. Okay, gearbox, transfer box, back up and in. Not too bad really. A little bit of messing about to get back in, you know, wriggling up and down the jack, but kind of, to be honest, for doing it on your back, it went in pretty sweet. Not really any problems. Just remember here guys, when you're fitting your transfer box, this bolt here, there's another one for the transfer box, just sits up on top there. Fit them with a sealing compound, Loctite, or a bit of I don't know, just because they sit in oil in the transfer box, so you want to put some on the threads to stop a leak in oil. Gonna try and get back the start motor on next, maybe the prop shafts, and then I got to figure out the wiring for the transfer box switches, the new ones, and the traction control. So that's enough for one day. I'll get back on it soon. Okay then, just another quick update. Front pump's back on, starter motor's back on, slave cylinder's back in. Just built this back up here. A bit of a tip for this cable here, it's a horrible thing to get in, but if you let it go on the handbrake first, you get a lot more slack. It comes off down here and you can pull the end over the little knob. This makes it easier to get inside of where it sits in here. So I'd let it go on the handbrake, gives you more slack, it's a lot easier. Yeah, so that's back up. Okay, the new shifter is up in place up here. The cables are attached. This top cable here, it's best to let your 4 bolts off on top, have it dangling probably down. I did have the prop off at the time. Having it dangling around here, put your top cable in, and your the little securing, there's a little securing clip goes on here, one at the other end. Put them on there, then put it up into the actual where it sits by your gear stick, and put your 4 bolts. So it makes it easier. The bottom cable's easy to put in. It's nice. Now, what I'm going to do is, I did go at the wiring up here. There's 2 new sensors up in here. I'm going to do a separate video for the wiring, so it's a bit more clearer. Once I got it figured out properly, I checked the gear stick up there to see if it's working, going in and out. Feels tight, going in high, low, high range, and in central diff lock. So it might need some adjustment, but I'm going to have a look when she's back on the ground running, because sometimes you take a bit of a rock just to get them in, you know, into the transfer box, just to get the thing to change properly. Okay, so she's pretty much back together now. Yeah, you have to do a little bit of cutting out around here to fit the new shifter in. She just kind of, she won't sit in there. The hole's a little bit small. I'm going to tie that up with a die grinder. It's just kind of a bit rough at the moment. So, let's see down in here. I thought we had a little bit of a problem when I first put it back together. It won't go into diff lock. she won't move. See that little 13mm nut on top? I just put a 3/8 ratchet on there and turned it by hand. And after that, it's been working perfect. Maybe just a little bit tight where it's been sat for a while. Need to put that breather pipe back on, breather one on the gearbox. And then I'm going to do another video just about the wiring. Just try and get your diff lock light up on the dash. And also I think on this one here, when it senses the diff lock comes in, it turns traction control on. So I'm going to just go and see if we can figure out how to do that. Okay guys, the Discovery 2 TD5 transfer box wiring, central diff lock wiring light for your dash. If you don't have the harness going down to it already, mine didn't. I had these two wires here, these two connectors on. Now when I bridged it out, it brought on the gearbox high oil temperature light. It's not got the standard wire, it's not got the wire running down here for your diff lock switch. So what I've done is, you can see here, taking my two connectors off. Now if you pull your wiring out back here, there's your diff lock switch light for the dash, your blue and your black wire. Mine stops at this plug here, it didn't come through and keep on going down to the gearbox. So what I've done is, I've taken the gearbox high oil temperature wire, the green and black one, which originally was in the far pin there. This one here, you see the other side, is your green and black wire. And what I've done was, I pulled the pin out of that one and I've stuck it in. Let's see if you can just show you the wire there. Green and black, this one here. I've just stuck it back in the connector in a different pinhole. This one here, and now that goes into the diff lock light wire, joins into the blue and black one. So the green and black to the blue and black. I went online, I bought up a little connector set here, little watertight connector set. Now on my gearbox transfer box I have two diff lock switches down there. I'm not gonna lie, I do not know why I have two down there. I took one out. Let's see if I can just show you down there. Should be able to just see down there. It's kind of not the greatest picture of it. There you go. I took the first one out, it was easier to get on, just had a 19mm ring spanner, I managed to get it out, and I've put the plug on the other end. Now you have to get, I don't know if you've got the same transfer box as me, I've put there's a green and a yellow wire, I've put that to the black and green wire. And then I've put, there's a green wire, and I've put that to the black wire. Oh. Just plug it in. There we go. Plugged in. Now, look on the dash now. There she is. There's your diff lock light. Let's just pressing the sensor in and out. I'm going to run the sensor back down to the gearbox now. I just found a new washer for it, but it looks like I found a way around it there. Hopefully all the wiring from this plug upwards should be the same. It's just a wire, green wire, straight wire to your blue one, and then everything else will be this. There's no different notice than, you know, in the wiring after that. So everything should be standard. So just gonna spin that gearbox switch back in, and I think that should be all working fine for me. There is a wire you have to pull over in the slabs ECU. I'll just go and show you that one next. Okay guys, so just going to test the wiring and the new switch I've put in. It's currently in 4 high a second. So just going to quick stick her over there. It's diff lock. There we go. Diff lock light works, comes on. So it looks like the wiring modification was a success.